What's up, everybody? Project Manga is back with episode 69 of the Special Grade Podcast, Giggity. I'm Nox, and I'm here with Yato. It's me and Yato tonight. What's up, man? Welcome back.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Super short week for this episode. We only have 3 manga that we're going to be talking about tonight. But before we get into that, obviously, we'd like to extend a huge thank you, like we always do, to all of you out there in the Special Grade tier for coming together and subscribing to this tier of content, keeping the lights on for the Special Grade review show. Can't thank you enough. But yeah, man, 3 chapters. No kaiju, no Shangri-La, no Ranger. Very, very sad about that.
Actually torn apart this week has been hell for me. Yeah,
for real. Yeah, because it's like, dude, Shangri-La's at such a crazy point right now. And like huge. Ranger is like just now starting to like, you know, get into this, you know, green battalion, like other executives like area. So we're all just like...
Yeah, we got big lore for the invaders, and it's like, man, how could you, Niggy? Because I think he actually went on break. It's like, how could you? But Shangri-La is like, I think that's like a licensing issue with Kodansha or something. So it's like weird.
So it's just for I think we were talking about it last week. So the chapters do exist in Japan, like they're still coming out. They're just not getting translated for us.
Yeah, I think it's weird because like I actually read the Eden Zero chapter like that was supposed to come out this week. I read it like last Sunday, and it normally doesn't come out until like late Monday or Tuesday. And I read it Sunday, but then they deleted it from MangaDex for some reason, I guess because you know it ain't supposed to be there. But then like I haven't read Sins, the Sins sequel that I'm following, and that's in Weekly Shonen magazine. And
then, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's in there, sense, and then and then haven't read Gachikuta came out as normal. And Shangri-La Frontier, I haven't seen anything like it. I think, like, I gotta check with like I forget who's got Azuki. I think like Big Hearn or somebody, but they were saying it's like they were saying it's like a licensing issue, but like, is it just specifically for this? Like, I don't know if the Raws exist and they just aren't being translated, or if Shangri-La just isn't being done because everything else I've read everything else.
Okay, so everything else in Weekly Shonen magazine is still happening like as regularly as it normally is. It's just Shangri-La Frontier, and it's like, why that one?
Yeah, there might be a little delay. I think it's crazy. Shangri-La is, I guess, Shangri-La's probably the most like underdoggy of the bunch that we're all following and shit.
Which is just so crazy to me because I feel like it just speaks to the widest like audience. Yeah, I feel like Shangri-La Frontier is something that is the least niche, right? I mean, like Eden Zero, you know, probably, you know, is the most you know, because it's Hiro Mashima and it's like sci-fi action adventure. Like anyone can pick that up and like it. It's a super easy read. But like Shangri-La Frontier is like video games, like isekai is like huge. So like just like that style of writing is usually really easy for people to pick up and enjoy. So it's just weird that that's as underdoggy or as low key as it is.
A lot of the Weekly Shonen magazine stories that we're following are like assistants or returning authors like Negi Haruba and Kei Urano and fucking Seven Deadly Sins guy Nakaba.
Suzuki Nakaba.
Yeah, and then you know we got like Shangri-La Frontier. I don't think they've done anything before this, but
okay.
So it's like
that's another perspective,
Yeah, but I think they just got like an anime announcement this week too.
I know, that's so massive.
If that's for real, we in there, yo. I can't wait for that. We need a good studio, and we need at least Wazaimon animated, yo.
Yes,
up to that point.
At least up to that point, and it's gonna frustrate. Like I'm happy that Shangri-La Frontier is going to get an anime, but it's like we've been shouting from the rooftops for everyone to read Shangri-La Frontier for like almost 2 years now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And no one really listens, but then the anime is going to come out and people are going to be like, yo, what's this? And there's going to be this huge following for it once the anime starts busting, and we're just going to be there like, oh, so fuck me then, right? Like, we're chopped liver. It happens like that every time. Like, y'all are going to wait for the anime to come out for all of these things every single time? Like, you can't just listen? us,
and
I
they
know we
pretend
see
they
it.
were there since day one.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
exactly.
always been a Son Raku fan.
Oh yeah, well then where were you? I've been following you on Twitter the whole time.
Right.
So
Never see you put out one tweet.
yeah.
YouTube's got like no coverage at all. Like nobody's talking about it.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I'm glad that Twitter made it so easy to like call people on that now, because you can just like go, search, someone, go to someone's profile, go to the magnifying glass and search keywords and see if they've ever tweeted
Right.
about something, and it's like, it's not so easy for you to say that you've been here since the beginning now, is it?
Right, yeah, you get caught up.
Right. But let's get into the conversation. Beforehand though, there's gonna be timestamps down in the description as usual if you want to skip spoilers for the series that you're not yet caught up in, and special grade subscribers that also have Discord and are members of it. Make sure you link those accounts together so you can see the hidden channels and come fuck with us throughout the rest of the week in a more intimate setting. But Dandadan chapter 62, I want to rebuild the house. I fucking love this chapter, man. Holy shits. I love like the situation that we're in coming out of Okarune's newfound confidence in his abilities coming out of his training and whatnot with Ira. He put the hands on GG Evil Eye, and I wasn't really here for that conversation last week. That was Eagle and Mello. But that was the one where I was like, man, I wish I could be talking about this with them, because that chapter had me on the fucking edge of my seat, and I love how it kind of like came to a point where they took advantage of the adolescence of the Evil Eye curse. You know what I mean? And saying like, hey, we found this loophole. This dude was going to go crazy and kill everything. But now that I'm a little bit tighter and I can kind of like, fuck with him, now all eyes are on Okarune in regards to the Evil Eye, and his focus is there, and he's willing to go along with his, with his schemes because he is a child. And they set that precedent really well in the Suicide Worm arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
it's been built up for a minute.
Yeah, it's been built up for a minute. So when we finally got the information, at first I was like, wait a minute, he's just going to give up on his goal of killing all humans just to play with Okarune? And I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, he's totally like a 9-year-old kid with just a bunch of power. So it all felt really good. And then going into the slice of life storytelling now with Manjiro and everybody, it felt really good. How did you feel about this chapter?
I feel like I can never speak about it enough and how much I love this series. It's just every chapter is just, for me, I feel like I feel like every week I gotta give it a 10. Yeah, like
every time
I can't stop myself. Yeah, I can't help myself.
Yeah,
like I just gotta give it out. So this chapter, man, it was a short one. It was short and sweet. I mean, it felt like it was short. We didn't get like action. There wasn't like a fight or anything, but it was nice little engagements and shit.
Yes,
Conversations
character interactions.
with the characters.
Dude, we went to a bath scene in this chapter where they left, and Seiko was like, you want to go to the bathhouse? And I was like, Granny Seiko bath scene? And then like we go to it and it's like one panel, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
It's not even real. Didn't even happen.
We couldn't get one more panel of Seiko in the bath, dude. I was so fucking
with the
pissed.
Towel or something.
Yeah, something. Like, let me get Seiko wrapped up with the towel outside of the, you don't got to give me, a Black Clover bath scene. I mean, I would love that. I would love a Black Clover style
with the fog and shit.
With the fog over the titties and like, the foam over the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have done that and I would have been like, fuck yeah. But I didn't even need that. I just needed her out of the bath with a towel on, just for that visual, and they didn't want to give it to me. They gonna give it to me one day though. Yukinobu owes
too
me.
wholesome. Yeah.
I know
he's too wholesome, man. He's just
I need it at least one time before the end of the series.
We might get it, but
the Spank Bank needs it. But anyway,
yeah. Man, about these fucking underwear though, the fucking tidy whities, like they got a suitcase that they put this shit in. Manjiro's like, I'm taking this shit with me, and like Seiko was like, let me know if something happens, and that got me thinking, like, what if Manjiro takes it home, and like, what if his family members like, oh yeah, let me borrow some underwear, and then they become fucking crazy.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't think Granny Seiko says that in a story like Dandadan without something actually happening. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a setup for future conflict, which is kind of stressful.
Right, like maybe Manjiro's like mom. I don't know how old this guy is, but maybe his mom comes in the room and is like, "Why does my son got underwear in a briefcase? Let me put this in the drawer." And he goes in one day after shower, puts them on, not realizing they're evil underwear. And, like what happens to evil Manjiro? Does the underwear turn him like super crazy? Like I want to see what happens with that.
That's actually a really good question. I think it might happen like exactly like that. Like the mom sees the suitcase and be like, "That's weird that he put this in the suitcase. Let me throw this in the laundry." I could totally see that. And then he puts it in his drawer, and then he wears them on accident. That's so Dandadan.
Yeah, and then we get like fucking thick unibrow underwear man. His,
Yeah.
this shit's dummy thick.
Yeah, no, that's
It
a
looks like
real
it looked
deal.
like it was painted on like Choso's like nose paint. Yeah. Oh man.
Yo, I'm dead. And it's funny because he's like, I will take responsibility for this cursed object. So now I'm sitting here going like, okay, the object became cursed because Gigi was wearing this underwear as he became possessed by the evil eye, and then the energy just like went into the underwear is what I was thinking. Otherwise, it's like, was the underwear like did the underwear come from the evil eye? Because the evil eye was wearing underwear too. I think it's just
Yeah.
Gigi's underwear though that has become a cursed
I think
object after
I
the
think
possession.
I
Yeah.
think the evil eyes like his whole entity merged with Gigi, and so his underwear merged with Gigi's underwear, and now
Yep.
they're evil underwear. But
Yeah.
like, but like, how does that work with like? Where's the source of power coming from? Because the evil eye, Gigi now has the evil eye inside of him. He's
hmm
powerful. He can do his power shit or whatever. But like
hmm
the underwear is what he said. The underwear was to kill all humans.
Yeah, that
So
was a
like,
crazy line of dialogue in the last chapter. I was like, wait, if he takes it off, and then he took it off and he handed it to Okaroon, and then he came out of the evil eye. I don't think that
yeah,
I don't think the two moments are linked, right? Because why would yeah, because he's still going to be able to become evil eye without these underwears.
that's what I'm thinking.
Obviously,
But like,
obviously, yeah,
yeah, I think so. Somebody, in the comments, let us know if we tripping. But like,
yeah,
otherwise, like Manjaro would have to bring the underwear to Gigi every Tuesday, like after school. It's like,
yeah,
here you go,
right,
like his
right.
boxing gloves, like.
Yeah, and that would make it feel really weird because at the end of the day, they just don't want Gigi to be possessed by this evil entity anymore. So why would you ever give the underwear back? And also
Yeah,
the evil
yeah,
eye, if you know that your powers are linked to the underwear and you want to keep fighting Okaroon every Tuesday, why would you give him, the underwear that has your powers in it? So I
yeah.
definitely think that Gigi will still be able to become the evil eye no matter what. But then that begs the question, like, is every piece of underwear that Gigi wears eventually going to become a cursed object when the evil eye manifests inside of him?
I'm thinking we might just be dealing with like a third party situation where the
Yeah,
underwear is its own. It's got its own entity, its own like identity and shit. Like, if the
yeah,
underwear could, it would talk and say "fuck y'all." But
yeah,
like,
yeah. I can't wait to see the next manifestation of the evil eye now that the
yeah,
underwear is separate, right? Because like what if the evil eye comes out and it's still the same amount of power, but he's totally chill? You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is he
Yeah.
gonna be chill? And he's like, "All right, bro, time to box."
Yeah, yeah. And it's just gonna be like them playing. There's no more, sinister aura associated with
Yeah,
it. There's no more like wild malicious aggression, you know what I mean? Like inside the
he's just
evil
the
eye.
unhappy eye now.
Yeah. Or something like that, you know what I mean? But I'm really interested in like the future of Gigi now that we kind of like have this concept out in the open here because
Yeah,
it's very it's got me very curious, yeah. But
yeah. He's like, be careful. Contact me if anything happens. And like,
and
what
something
what could
definitely
happen?
will happen. Yeah,
Something's definitely gonna happen. Like, it's got to.
right.
This is the series for it.
Yeah,
Um, and then Manjaro drives off. Yeah, Manjaro's got to be 18 or so. He's
something
driving a
like that.
fucking
Yeah, he's
van.
whipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
He
think he's
whipping.
like 18, 19, right? Because that would make a lot of sense for I mean, you could be a prodigious talent in like martial arts and exorcism, at a young age. Sure, that's totally and you probably are if you're fucking with Granny Seiko to this degree. But I just want to assume that he's like at least early adulthood with his level of involvement in the exorcist world and his level
Right.
of but he is also like an apprentice too at the same time. So yeah, 18, 19, that sounds
Yeah.
about right. Yeah.
He's in there. I think he's definitely like not in high school like the kids are, but he's not like
Yeah.
he's I don't think he's like legal drinking age or whatever. I don't know what the drinking age is over there, but he's
Yeah.
not like
I
21.
think
I don't
it's
think.
like 18. Yeah.
Yeah, I got him at like 18 or 19, and the
Yeah.
kids all being like 16, 17.
Yeah. I feel that too, for sure. And she's like, keep your key training up. You've still got the curse. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, he still got it.
Yeah.
See me immediately if anything happens. So like,
If
yeah,
anything happens, he's not gonna want to come see you. He's gonna be the evil eye. And he's gonna be like, fuck everybody or whatever. Or where's Okarun? He's gonna go try to see Okarun.
We really need like 2 more chapters to see like what could happen like with Gigi separated from the underwear. And now that I think about it, this is like really weird because like my wife has probably walked past the door and heard me talk about underwear like 16 times. What the fuck is going on? Yeah. What is this weird conversation?
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
Fucking. So we got Gigi's parents. I mean, we've seen them before, but they were like hospitalized before, right?
Yes.
I think we saw them and they were tore up, but we get them again and
they come in, and Granny Seiko's super like formal and cordial and polite and respectful, and everyone's like, "Yo, what the fuck's up with that?
Who is this woman?"
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. And one thing that I love about the art in Dandadan is that like all of the friends are so like, close, and they have such like playful, like bubbly, like personalities or whatever. And I keep staring at this panel on page 3 where Momo is like on Gigi's back, like, hey, why are you acting all embarrassed? And it's like so much about these characters are communicated in panels like these with just facial expressions like these. I feel like we don't, out of all the funny chibi, comedy faces that you see, in anime and manga, I feel like Dandadan has my favorite that I think I've ever seen because they're just so different, and it leans so heavily into slice of life that I feel like I just know these characters better from moments like these, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just feel like
their personality.
I feel like I know them. I feel like they're my fucking friends. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember a time where, comedy, chibi, funny face illustrations have communicated this much to me.
Yeah, even with just Turbo Granny, like at this top right panel, just seeing her just standing there, just Turbo Granny is always there, like no matter what's going on.
I didn't notice her right there.
She's in the left one too, just beside Iris Head. She's just there, like I don't even know what she's like doing. She's just standing there, like who is this woman?
Speaking of just there, speaking of characters just being there, the mannequin lady whose name I always fucking don't remember. Yeah, so when we get to page 11, when I was first reading this chapter and I got to page 11 and they kick the fucking Tunum or Ludris or whatever the fuck its name is.
Yeah, Ludris.
Yeah, well, like when they kicked him, I was like, wait a minute, is that the mannequin lady right there? When the fuck? I was like, when the fuck did she get there? And I went back like through the rest of the chapter and like, like she's been there since like page fucking 6. when you get the splash page of the destruction of the house, and I was like, oh my god, she really is just there. And then you turn the page and she's at the spa. You know what I'm saying?
She's really a part of the squad.
Like, and then Momo is holding, it. But
I didn't know what that was until literally just now rereading it. I was like the whole time I was like, what is she carrying? Like, what is that like Pac-Man like thing? And then, and then Turbo Grady's in Momo's hood, like while she's carrying the.
What?
So Momo's carrying Turbo Grady and the mannequin girl.
Yo, the little details, man. Yukino Butatsu, like. I feel like literally lives in this world in his mind. He doesn't forget a single fucking thing. This shit is just as real as anything else in the physical world for him, probably.
Right.
And that's the way you want it to be as a creator, I want to say. Like if you can't fully immerse yourself and like convince yourself that the world that you've created is real, then maybe not everyone will notice it, but when you add this level of detail to things, it's definitely noticeable, and people definitely pick up on it. Whether it's a conscious or unconscious thing, it adds to the immersion every time.
Right. Even just very small details, like on the panel, on the bottom panel where they're sitting in like the massage chair. Like he didn't have to draw like Momo having slippers, or like you can, if you zoom in, you can see Turbo Granny has like a towel over her face or something. I think. I think so, maybe. I don't know, but like
on 7?
Bottom of 7. I feel like she's got a towel over her face while she's laying down.
Yeah, something like that.
In the chair.
Yeah.
And like Momo has one, or maybe not Momo. Okay, that's like the collar. So maybe not,
sure,
but I don't know. I feel like she's got a towel on.
But there's just a bunch of like little details like everywhere. Like the sandals. Like I didn't even notice the sandals before.
Yeah, and it's like that's something that didn't have to be drawn. Like they're at a spot. Like they don't.
Right. Yeah. It's just doing going above and beyond to make these scenes feel as real as possible. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we get back, they pull up, Ludris is there, and I like, bro, when I turned into this splash page on 10, I was like, oh my god, aliens are here to fuck them up. Like at the fucking like peak of their like we're broke, our crib is fucked, we don't have enough money to like do anything about it, and now aliens are here to attack us. And I was like,
Aliens.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not again, yo.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's a friend. You know what I mean? It's a
yeah.
friend. Peeny Weeny Shrimp Man like pulled up, you know, with his kid. And I fucking love his fucking kid,
Yeah.
bro. Like, yeah, this is like they're fucking adorable.
Yeah, him and Ira are like best friends, little
Yeah,
Chiquita, yeah.
right. Yeah, Chiquita. There we go. Yeah, Chiquita and Ira being like really, you know, close in these panels is really good. And then like you
Yeah.
know they're talking about how you know our Okarun is here with them, and they're like, "We're gonna fix up the crib," you know what I mean? And I was like, "Oh, well, that's convenient. That was right on time. We were just talking about how we don't have any money, and we were just
Yeah.
talking about how like we don't know what we're gonna do. That was our last supper, going to the spa, and I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen?" And then it's just right on time, convenient. You know, we're cleaning the crib or we're fixing the crib, and I was like, "Okay." I mean, like that's fine, but then like you get farther in, and they're like, "Hey." I've been trying to think of a way to pay you back for all of this stuff, you know, anyway. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, we're giving, you know, we're filling that gap with logical reasoning. Like it makes sense
Yeah.
that Peeny Weenie would want to pull up and help them in this way because of Chiquita. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Seiko has done literally like all she has done in this series is help everyone out. Like she's
Hmm.
helped every single character that has come into the story, and like
Yeah.
she never wants anyone to like help her back. So it's like
Right.
I really want to see more. Like I want to see like her backstory, or like
Yes.
I want to meet who the granddad was, or
Yeah.
whoever because Momo's her granddaughter. I want to meet. I can't wait till we find out like more about like the family and what made
Yes.
her the way she is.
Yeah.
Because people are offering to help her, and she's like she's Petey Weedy and fucking Mr. Ludris and them are here. And she's like, y'all can go home. You're like,
Yeah.
your house is destroyed.
Right.
What are you planning to do? You literally just said you don't have any money.
Right.
What are you hiding?
and
what
her
what?
and her responses are always like so perfect. You know, it's not just like I
Yeah,
don't want any help, go away.
yeah,
It's like no, there's a perfectly logical reason why she's saying she's like you're always so busy, go home and play with your kid, like you have a family,
yeah.
go
It makes
do that, you
sense.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then they're like no. And then Okarun, you know what I mean? She's like you have your hands full just trying to stay standing, like you just fucking fought Gigi like high diff and like used all your energy, like what are you even fucking doing here, go to bed. And he's like
yeah,
no, you know what I mean? So it never feels like none of these responses ever feel forced. They feel like they're coming from real people who have
yeah.
legitimately considered what's happening around them before they say things, you know what I mean? And it makes them feel that much more real, you
And
know.
she's like really selfless. She doesn't like want people to go out of the way to
Hmm.
help her and shit.
Hmm.
I want to see what made her this way. Like if
Yeah,
something
same.
happened, like if something sad ever happened to her or something,
Oh, her
like
backstory's got to be
yeah,
fucking heart wrenching, and it's like I want to meet these parents. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
always forget. Like
dying.
we say Granny Seiko all the time, but like I always like literally forget that she's actually a grandma. You know what I mean? I think my brain just like rewires to like as like the joke of like you look young and hot but you're a granny, and like they always
Yeah,
like make fun of older people by calling them OG-san or something, like granddad or
yeah,
uncle
like
or granny. Like I always forget
or
like she's
old hag or
yeah,
something.
or old hag. Like she's actually a grandmother. She has a daughter or a son who is Momo's parents, and it's like, where are they? Do we know? I can't remember if we know. We probably don't know anything about the
I don't.
parents, and I don't
Yeah,
think
we
they've
haven't
really been
seen.
brought up. Yeah,
We haven't gotten. I don't think any mention about either of the two main kids' parents,
yeah.
and like but everyone is like super real about it. Like Momo is like, bro, you're a grandma. Like
Hmm.
you can't, do everything on your own. And like we don't
Hmm.
have money. Like it's even in Seiko's like don't underestimate grandmas. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot with her character still that we just don't know.
And what I appreciated about it is that even when like the chips are like super down for her, and it's like obviously undeniable that she's in a situation that she can't immediately deal with on her own, she still has this air of, competence and capability that like makes
Yeah,
you like it kind of like bellies the situation a little bit, where you're like, wait, is Granny Seiko like really like in a situation where she can't like do anything? Like obviously, like she wouldn't lie about not having any money. What would
yeah,
have happened if Peeny Weenie and Ludris didn't pull up with this like nanotechnology to like rebuild everything? Like, would she have been all right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it makes me wonder that. But like at the same time, I'm still sitting here going, okay, this is vulnerability for a character that has been depicted as so strong and capable, the entire time. And it's like it doesn't diminish that. It doesn't take away from that confident, strong, wildly capable aspect of her character at all. You know what I mean? So it's, I just love Granny Seiko, man. Like she's like a perfect character to me.
she's a really good character, and
Yeah.
only thing I've been missing with her is I want like one-on-one like moments with her and Turbo Granny, because I want to see what type of things they talk about. So I really do
Yes.
like that Turbo Granny is like considered part of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she's talking about let's go to the spa, Turbo Granny's like, well, what about me? And she's like, everyone, bro, like everyone's coming. Like
Yeah, and
I love
everyone's
that.
hype about it too. Hold on, let me go back to the page. What was it? She's like, oh wait, no, it's before this. Yeah, it'll be quiet now. This isn't something I want to deal with right now. Shall we just go to the super bathhouse instead? Yippee! What about me? All of us. Yippee! And it's like I've never seen Turbo Granny excited and happy about something. She's always talking shit and pissed.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. Like Turbo Granny is gonna start getting soft, but like she says like I think about killing you guys all the time, but like she's got a soft spot for these guys.
Oh yeah, she would never harm them. She will always hold them down and protect them while being a tsundere. Period.
Yeah.
Like that's always just gonna be what it is.
I love these characters. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. The nanoskin technology is like really cool, leaning into the sci-fi element. For Dandadan outside of just like alien attacks. You know what I mean? I don't remember the last time we got like just like raw technology info, on the sci-fi side of things inside of Dandadan. I can't remember how many times it has happened. Like we've seen UFOs. We got, Chiquita and Peeny Weenie in the ship, speaking in hieroglyphics. And we got like really cool like visual storytelling in regard to how like the technology and sci-fi aspect of Dandadan kind of works. Obviously, you have the Serpoians with their weird mechanical dicks and shit. You know what I mean? But like, but like, here we have like just raw sci-fi. You know what I mean? And I love that we aren't skimping on either side of the concepts inside of Dandadan. We get a lot of like supernatural, occult, yokai stuff, and we get a perfect balance of technology-based, like sci-fi, alien stuff, at the same time.
Dealt with these spirits and shit, and now here we go. We got more aliens for you.
Yes.
And so I'm enjoying it, man. I want to see more from Peeny Weenie and this Mr. Ludris. Like I wonder if like at some point they're gonna get like a translator or something, because like I want to know what he's saying. Like what is this tune him thing?
Tune him.
That's like all he's saying. And Peeny Weenie can understand. It's like he's just happy to get kicked by beautiful women.
Yeah. That's always a thing though, you know what I mean? Because like if you look at like literally like anything in sci-fi, they always have this aspect somewhere in the story. Like you look at Star Wars, like Chewbacca just says, but like Han Solo knows exactly what he's saying. Or you have R2-D2 like, whoop, 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 and then Anakin's like, oh, word, all right, bet, and it's like, how do you know?
I didn't even think about that at all, but it makes all the sense. Yeah, we'll probably never get like his speech outside of like Peeny Weenie.
Right? Yeah. Just translation through another character, which is funny and it works. So like it's fine. You just don't question it. You just accept that. But I love the dialogue for the nanoskin, like the writing on it. You know what I mean? It's easy to do. We apply the nanoskin to the necessary places, and once we work it into the appropriate form, much as one would with clay, it'll look like this. You can make anything with it. Nanoskin is made up of ultra-high density nanomachines. It's a shape memory alloy. Even if it gets damaged, the nanoskin can restore itself. Clearly visualize what you're making. The nanomachines will pick up the electrical signals from your brain and take on the very form you're picturing. This is why, you remember when we were watching, or when you were reading the new Deadly class, and then that guy came and picked up Marcus's book and was like criticizing the book. He's like, I normally don't like pulp sci-fi because like it's usually an excuse for writers to not have to do the research necessary to create the pseudoscience aspect of their story in a believable way to tell fiction about technology. You know what I mean? And this is exactly what he was talking about. This kind of writing is what makes sci-fi so great, is because you're taking an entirely fantastic thing and applying as much logic as you possibly can to it, to where it sounds like it could actually be technology. Like you connect just enough dots to where you're like, yes, I see the vision. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. You can think of something that's from some point in your life where you've seen this something similar to this in some form of media, and it clicks. Like you're like, oh yeah, it's just like that one thing.
Yes, it's all about making like wildly complicated technology make enough sense for people who aren't engineers or actual scientists. And even if you are a scientist, it still makes just enough sense to where you don't just get your entire immersion shattered because you're like, well, that's not how science works. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you can prevent as much of that as possible, you are doing science fiction correctly.
And then he also just go with the, he explains it scientifically, and then is like, visualize what you want to do and it will do
Yes,
it, like to
yes.
break it down for dummies.
Yes, it's so good. And I love the panel of Chiquita and Ira making little fucking like animal like,
Yeah.
like forms out of it like while they're building the like, railing or whatever this structure is.
Yeah, like the fence or something.
Yeah, and then Okaroon's like think we got to get this toilet done.
Somebody in Discord, in the PM Discord, was saying that like the toilet one, they were saying something about it. They were like criticizing it, saying that like even if you knew like the basic like idea of a toilet, like the piping and stuff still
Yeah.
wouldn't work right now. I mean, yeah, but like I feel like the piping and stuff is still there. Like if you just go over to where the pipes was, it was like
Right.
put a toilet here. So he's not
Yes.
like rerunning the pipes or anything.
Right,
That the
exactly.
surface of the house was destroyed. So I think everything
Yeah.
underground should probably still be straight.
All of the
Just
piping and like irrigation systems and whatnot, like
yeah,
they didn't fucking make a giant crater in the ground and we're
yeah,
literally building from, below the ground up. It's literally just
yeah,
surface level damage. And it's like, well, yeah, you just need a toilet right here and then you can reconnect
yeah.
it in whatever
Like
way.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but I feel like if all of the like workings, all the electrical and plumbing and shit still there, you could just plop a toilet down.
Plus, plus, like even if there was like below the surface damage to a certain degree, like you're the nanotechnology can probably like fill in the gaps from the surface level to
Yeah,
that point well enough.
yeah.
Also, you
This
know what I
is
mean?
this is yeah, this is sci-fi. This
Yeah,
should probably like it
yeah.
it's doing the thinking for you.
Right, right. But the crib
So
looks great on the last double page spread on the
yeah,
to be
man,
continued page, bro. I was like, oh man, and we got the constellations in the background
this is
with like
beautiful.
the
Yeah,
white twinkling like going into this like stark white line work, which I think is I don't know, it's weird because it extends past the crib. Like it almost like comes off of the crib a little bit, like it's almost like a blueprint for like what they're trying to
yeah.
do, but then it goes back into the stars and whatnot. So is this literally just twinkling, or is this some other extra aspect of the technology that kind of like acts as like a guide or something for like more shaping of the
I think
technology in other
I think
areas? I don't know.
I think it might just be like twinkling with
Yeah,
the
I think it
technology
is.
because
Yeah,
on page 13 when Ludris is there, he's got the stars around him too, and he introduced us to his friend Mr. Ludris, and he's got
yeah,
like stars in the background. So I think
yeah,
probably whatever he's getting involved with is going to be like
yeah,
extra.
yeah. That makes a lot of
Uh,
sense. But just a great
his
visual detail for the last
yeah,
page. Yeah,
his design is crazy. He's literally like alien Minecraft dude,
yeah,
like this is
yeah,
the Minecraft house. He's got like the animations for like dropping the blocks and stuff when
yeah,
he's on the second story filling up the hole. This literally is Minecraft,
yeah,
and everyone's here. We got the mannequins downstairs like looking
yeah,
out the window, and
yeah, yeah.
everyone's doing their part except for
Yeah.
Turbo Granny. She's chilling.
Chilling as she
Yeah.
should. I
She's
don't I can't see her doing anything like this, at least not yet. You know what I mean?
yeah.
She's got to
She's
keep that aspect of her character for a while until like she's like thoroughly ingrained in the team. Like I mean, and
right.
she is for enough, but like that's her thing is to laze about in her Neko form while everybody else does
Yeah.
everything else. She's just words.
She's there when the chips are
When the
down, but
chips are
she's
down,
but she's not helping you put up a table or nothing.
right?
She's not holding your nails or handing you a screwdriver.
Yeah, and it's
She's
like,
like,
yeah, it's super cathartic too because it's like, man, when we got the dialogue about how even if it gets damaged, the nanoskin can restore itself. Like, not only does it just feel good that they're getting the crib rebuilt, like at the peak of their like anxiety about like what they're going to do, about their housing situation, but now future damage just gets restored by this technology, and it's like, man, after
right,
seeing this crib destroyed so many times, like every single time it's just like I'm an adult now, I have a family, I have a house, and I'm like thinking about like what if this happened to me, like how frustrating, how fucked up, how terrible that would be. And I'm watching it happen to people that I now love constantly with this Gigi stuff going on, and then now we're in a situation where it's like, don't worry about it, even if the evil eye or some other kind of outside force fucks the crib up, we don't have to stress about this particular thing anymore. And it's just like,
right.
yes, Yes.
Yeah, it's really good,
Finally. Yeah.
and like I really I say it every time we get something like this. Like I
Hmm.
said it in Black Clover. I really want to see a fucking house mech battle. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
I want the house because it's made of nano what's it
Yeah.
called, nano skin or whatever. Like
Yeah.
this shit can shape. I want the house to change into like a giant fucking transformer and fight something. Yeah,
That would
like
be really cool. With Chiquita driving it, we get a Chiquita
yeah,
fight with the house. That'd be so
driving the fucking
tight.
crib. Yeah,
That'd be so sick.
like the Black Bulls mansion. Yeah, I want something like that.
Yes, yes.
I keep wanting to see a fight like that, and I haven't gotten it yet.
We gonna get it in Dandadan. That just sounds so Dandadan to like eventually give us, because it's like, and especially if we're looking at it like, okay, they patch the crib up. This shit's like, living nano machines that'll, fix itself if it gets damaged and whatnot. It's very easy for us to assume that it just stops there. But it would be
Yeah,
very Dandadan to subvert that and go, hey, you thought it was just this, but alien technology, yada yada. It also turns into a giant mech when you need it
yeah,
to,
like
and it's
maybe,
like, yeah,
yeah, like maybe they have like a preset button or something. Like
yeah,
they push the button and it changes into a mech. Push the button,
yeah,
it changes back into a house because it's
yeah.
all like programmed and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Dandadan is very
So
much a series where, like, extra explanations can be applied to things that are introduced, like, beyond your initial expectation for it. You know what I mean? It's never surface level in Dandadan. You know what I mean? You get introduced to a certain thing, you think you understand it, then you find out there's more to it, and it always makes sense in hindsight. So
yeah,
love it.
I wonder. I wonder now though where we're gonna go next
Right.
because I mean you wanna think that like we go into like a completely different arc, but there's a couple paths we can go because we still got we got the subterraneans with the fucking
Yep.
the worm lady or whatever, and
Yep. Yep.
I don't personally want to jump right into that because I like to have like the threats kind of stay in the background for a
Right.
while.
Right.
So
Makes
like
it hit
I'd
that much
want
harder when they finally
yeah
come back. Yeah.
yeah I want that to come through like in the middle of like an arc or at the end of an arc or something like one or two arcs from now. But like
Right.
yeah, I ain't gonna say, I wouldn't be mad if it was next, but like I like to
Yeah.
see him hold on to that card a little longer. But I
Yeah.
mean, at the same time,
Yeah.
Okaru's been missing his other ball for like
We gotta
50
get,
chapters.
yeah, we gotta
So
get back to the testicle shit.
I mean, it ain't like it ain't like Yukinobu is unable to like hold the load because he's been
Yeah.
holding on to this testicle like retrieval thing for
Yeah.
50 chapters now.
Right, right.
So
Plus,
we
it's
we could
like,
get
I feel like we're just about due for another Serpoian arc, too. I feel like they've been, reeling
yeah
from the last ass whooping that they got with the Loch Ness Monster shit, you know what I mean? So I feel
yeah
like they're just about ready to come, enact like a new plot, you know what I mean? Or a new idea, a new scheme or whatever. So that'd be cool.
right
Or just an entirely new alien threat, you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
we just came out of a yokai one, so.
I definitely want to see. I want to see them become like MythBusters, and we see like Bigfoot and shit. We got the Loch Ness monster. I want to see. I want to see more shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, I feel like she told Gigi we'll see you tomorrow, and I think tomorrow's Tuesday. But like I don't think we're gonna jump straight into like another Gigi Evil Eye versus Okarum conflict immediately after this. Not right away.
We
Maybe
might get
like
it light, you know what I mean? Like we might
yeah,
like just like get like a
a montage or whatever.
maybe a montage or just like a flash forward to like them, like the next chapter like might start with like Gigi and Okaroon like boxing and just finishing out, their little like
Yeah,
session, their sparring session, and being like, "Oh man,
yeah,
we've been going, like these last couple of weeks, you know what I mean? These last couple of Tuesdays, like I'm starting to get in my rhythm. This is good for both of us type shit." And then we go
yeah,
into like whatever like the next actual arc is. I could see them
yeah. I can
lightly
see that.
touching on that.
Okaroon
Yeah.
gets a phone call and it's like, "Oh shit, my cousin's in town." It's like, "Cousins, time to go to Okaroon's house."
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I want to
Yeah,
see Okaroon's family
bro,
situation
I need
so
it, man.
bad.
I need it.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love it if it'd be crazy if it was just. I feel like Gigi won't be involved much in the next arc, like kind of like how Ira was, but like I
Yeah.
kind of want to see like Okaroon and Gigi just go on like a bros trip, yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
like
great.
and they go and like meet Okaru's family, and it become a whole thing. Like Momo and Ira, like how the hell did Gigi get to meet your parents before us and shit?
Yeah, it could be like
Like
like a parallel, slice of life, like kind of arc for like, boys retreat, girls retreat kind of
yeah,
thing. And then that would also be cool if then alongside that we got like a solo Granny Seiko storytelling path. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That like kind of like gave us a little glimpse into her past to a certain degree and whatnot. I don't know how Yukinobu would balance it. Obviously, we know that he could if he wanted to do that, but I think that that would be what I would want the most right now, is like a slice of life chill time that focuses on, you know, different pairings of the main cast that we haven't really seen too much.
Yeah, definitely want to like just see more pairings. Like in Turtles,
Yeah.
Turtles are always giving us cool pairings. I really want to see Granny Seiko and Turbo Granny, man.
Yes. Oh
Like
yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, that could be
yeah,
the duo. That could be like, it could be like a triple duo side by side slice of life arc.
yeah.
Yeah, that would
Like
be
something
amazing.
something happens, like an alien comes and just puts everyone in the house to sleep, but them or something. It's like
Yo.
now these two got to deal with waking everybody up and shit. I
Oh, that
need it,
would
yeah.
be so good. Oh my god.
That both the grannies are like, "What the fuck? I'm stuck with you. Like you're the only one awake or something."
Yeah.
I need it. Yeah,
Oh man, and that would slap too. Like, well, maybe it would have to be a yokai thing, I want to say, if it was like that, because if they're all in the crib and then, you know, some kind of enemy, you know, affects everybody in the house except for Turbo Granny and Seiko, that would make a lot of sense because they're the most experienced with the energy system. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that would be a cool setup for something like that. Everybody else is affected by the shit because they're young bucks in this game, but
yeah.
Granny and Turbo Granny are, you know, upper echelon type cats. So it's like, I would like that a lot. I would like that.
We need more.
Yeah,
We need more pairings. But it's still young.
yeah,
It's not like we've been reading it for 300 chapters and
yeah.
saying I need more. So
Right,
it's
right.
cool.
Yeah.
We still got lots of time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Did you have anything else for Dandadan this week?
Nah, I think I'm good with Dandadan.
Yeah, incredible chapter. I think I had a great conversation about it. It's almost like 40-minute conversation, so that was a lot
Yeah,
longer than I had expected. And it's just
it's
so
pretty chill.
easy to talk about Dandadan.
Yeah, it's easy to talk, even if
Yeah.
it's a chill chapter with them just putting the house together.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, that'll do it for Dandadan chapter 62. All right, moving into the Elusive Samurai, chapter 68, War Machine, 1335. Holy shit, how do we feel?
What the hell is going on,
Yeah,
bro?
right.
Elusive, man.
Woo!
It's
Yeah.
the one where like I hate to say it, like every time I read a chap, I get caught up,
Hmm.
then I let it sit for like 3 or 4 chapters, and
Hmm.
then I get caught up, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Like this is crazy. They brought
Yeah,
out this fucking war machine, and
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
terrorizing the battlefield.
And it's not enough that it's just a giant, you know, fucking scary battle cage machine. But then also, like, we get into it later in the chapter, and it's like the extra defenses that they apply to it just make it that much more ruthless and like macabre and
Yeah,
dark and crazy. And it's like, man, they're really doing a good job of representing just what kind of person is a warrior in this kind of like time period. It's like no technology, you know what I mean? Like, obviously back in the day, historical stuff, and it's like people were probably a lot more ruthless on the battlefield because they had to get so creative because they didn't have crazy technology to just rely on, you know what I mean? Like, they
yeah.
had to do shit like this to like spice it up and switch it up and get where they needed to go. So you got like this fucking crazy war, and I swear to God, now that I think about it, I feel like I've seen a similar like tank like style thing in, you know, other areas of like you know, Edo or old school like Japanese like
There
warfare
was
research.
there was a
Yeah.
previous fight in this series where somebody rode a tank like this, but it wasn't this thick.
Oh.
It was like a much smaller version, and the guy was like shooting arrow, like bow and arrow shots out of it. I think I don't
Mm,
remember. I feel like it was like 30 or so chapters ago, but like there was a smaller version of this
yeah.
in the series already.
Okay. Okay. I do not remember that, but hey.
Yeah, it's a very foggy memory. Somebody would probably be better
Yeah.
at details, but I remember like a war machine type thing coming out, and I feel
Uh,
like somebody shot an arrow in the window and got the guy or whatever.
oh, I think it was wait, are you talking about like when the Kokoshi was like in the handheld, like, you know, mobilized like little tank that he was shooting, you know, analog arrows out of or whatever? Yeah, maybe it was that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like they definitely took the idea from like that last battle and was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Let's
we
dial it
didn't do
up.
so well. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's turn this shit up.
Yeah.
I like I, I like I, I feel like I shouldn't say that I like it, but I like how they go into how inhumane this is, and I feel like this is one of those things where, in I believe the last episode you guys were talking about like mustard gas and stuff, and how like eventually like the world came to agree like we're never doing this type of shit again
like that
anymore. I
was
feel like
fucked up.
this, yeah, I feel like this is another one where like people need to sit down and be like, okay, so like,
yeah, how about no
we
more of that one?
we
Yeah,
gotta agree to not do this in
yeah,
war, like
yeah. And the
this.
explanations for it too, because it's like when they're talking about how like Hoshina pulls up and they're like, okay, we got reinforcements, let's fucking do this shit. Use fire arrows to burn it down. I was like, oh, yeah, duh. It's like fucking,
Yeah,
it's like giant thing made of wood. Just fucking light
simple,
that shit on fire and everybody inside is cooked. Go to hell. We fucking got you, you bastards. And then you have
right?
like the funny face like guy or whatever with like the torch and he's like covered in blood. This dude with like the face. I don't even know like how to, but he's always got like the super dark dialogue despite like having such a friendly, regular looking face. I fucking love that guy, by the way. But then they're
Which
like, yeah,
guy is this?
this is on page 12. Yeah, remember this guy who is like, hey man, even if they cut off my head before I die, I'll fucking shove my head up some dude's ass and fucking bite his fucking entrails out, you know,
Okay.
like, or whatever. He's always got like that super crazy, psychotic warrior dialogue. Like,
Right.
yeah, like, yo, you're actually a psychopath. Holy fucking shit. But then he just has like the derpiest face you've ever seen. Love that guy. But when they're talking about like, oh man, yeah, it's scary, it's big, everyone's supposed to be like worried about it because it's such a big tank, but you could literally just burn it down. And then Fubuki's like, nah, wait, you can't use fire arrows because there's slaves
Yeah.
in that bitch. Like, think about it, fam. The war machine needs a lot of people to push it and to reload the crossbows. The Kokeshi must lack true warriors if he's using nobles. In other words, most of the people inside that thing are fucking slaves. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh no. And then they have them wrapped up, slide them out the sides, and use them as extra, you know, defensive plating. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like for the
This is
shit.
insane. And
Yeah.
these aren't like even warriors. So like even if you
Right.
did burn it down, you just kill a bunch of like your old people. Like
Mm-hmm.
these are slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You kill a bunch of slaves, and you know that hurts morale, and it,
Yes.
you know it fucks with your own army. And then like
Yeah.
they still got all their warriors. So like
Right.
you waste all those fire arrows taking down this massive machine, and then
Yes.
their dudes still come charging through with all their shit.
Yes, and you have to
It's
think
wild.
about the fact that you just killed a bunch of innocent people, and that's
Yeah.
definitely going to affect like your like you were saying about morale. It's going to affect your ability to be the best warrior you can be on the battlefield, which will lead to more deaths. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's just like such a perfect shift, you know, in the battle. You know what I mean? And it stakes. You know what I mean? Like it genuinely makes me uncertain, you know, of what they're going to do to deal with this because it sounds like it's just so perfectly like hermetically sealed strategy. Like at this moment, the Kokeshi is drawing upon his full resources. Crossbowmen make up for the lack of warriors. Yep, that sucks. How are you going to deal with that? Because these crossbows are fucking broken for this time period. And slaves power everything and serve as shields against fire attacks. So now you're playing into the morality of the protagonist team and knowing that they're not going to literally just start tearing these random innocent people apart to get to the Kokeshi. So now you have to worry about that and then all to create the perfect battle monster at minimal expense. And it's like, yes, they're being so efficient, like because they don't give a fuck about morality or
Yeah.
humanity. You know what I mean? Like they just want to win and they're shitty. You know what I mean? It's the perfect plan as long as you ignore its humanity. And I was like, oh my God. Then you start turning into this insane imagery from like 16 to
Bro, yeah.
17.
This shit's nuts. And you got like all these naked bodies like pushing the thing and they're
Yeah.
hanging off and shit. And it's just like, this is
Oh.
insane. Non Boku Cho tag
Yeah. Yeah.
with the fucking Kiyohara Kami or Shinano fucking demon of fire wheels. This is insane.
Bro, the imagery I feel like has never been more scary in the Elusive Samurai. Like Takauji, you know, is a terrifying villain, and you know any other enemy that they've kind of come across gets like some really crazy imagery eventually. But like this is the most intense. Like I legitimately like jump scared turning into page 16 when I saw this dude's
Yeah.
fucking face, and it looks like his arms are out in front of him, you know, with this fucking Takauji saliva coming down into his hands, which I'm assuming is what that is, because Takauji loves to like spit in your mouth and like give you some kind of like superpower or whatever.
Bruh.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that,
I
but
don't
like,
remember that
yeah,
shit.
like there was like a yeah, like once we were seeing the other side of like the divine energy or whatever, and we found out that Takauji had access to it. He like leaned. I think it was the Kokashi. He like leaned over him and like stuck his tongue out, and like saliva like dripped out like from his mouth into another person's mouth. And I think that if it doesn't give you powers, it at least like, I don't know, ups your maliciousness, ups your aggression, ups your, inhumanity, to some degree, to where you can do things like these without issue and be happy about it or whatever. I don't really know exactly, but yeah, like it's nuts. But his hands are up, on 16, with the imagery of him accepting the spit or the saliva or whatever, but then his head is turned towards the camera.
Yeah, I
and
was
his
wondering,
neck,
like,
yeah, his neck
what?
looks like it's like twisted like a fucking bread bag tie.
Bro, these dudes are on that freaky deaky shit.
Yeah, I was just like, holy fucking shit. You say that too, you're a fucking madman. And then going into the Nambochoku or Nambokucho tag page, it's like, dude, what is this giant, like, this looks like something out of a fucking,
I feel like I'm looking at Berserk. Like,
yeah,
what is
like
this?
type shit. Yeah.
This is like breaking wheel type shit. Like putting the body on the wheel. Like they hanging bodies off. Like shoot us if you dare type shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just gonna charge you and fire arrows. Like, how do you deal with this?
Exactly. And like that is like, we talk about this all the time. Like stakes is a combination of uncertainty, tension slash worry, and, potential consequences, you know what I mean, that will come from whatever decisions that the protagonists have to make to like deal with a certain situation, you know what I mean? And it's like, even if the protagonist said, fuck it, we got to do what we got to do, make it rain on the fire arrows, we have to
Right.
deal with the consequences of them making that decision as far as their characters go, knowing that they just murdered a bunch of innocent people. So no matter what, it's high stakes everywhere you look in a situation like
Everywhere.
this. Yeah.
And they say that this guy constructed it in like 3 days or
Yeah.
something, whereas the undercarriage is built from ox carts, the side walls from shields, and the top from Buddhist structures. He built it from existing parts in 3 days.
Yeah, shit's
How do you
nuts.
build this in 3 days,
I
bro?
mean, when you have like unlimited slave labor,
True.
it's not
I'm not.
that crazy.
I'm thinking like he did it solo.
Oh.
Yeah, solo dolo. He's just out in the field, sweat, putting that shit together. But yeah,
I mean, hey,
slaves.
with the
Duh.
Taku Uji spit, you never know. Like this
Yeah,
motherfucker, like that shit could actually, give
he
you
amped up.
yeah, like the kind of like, like some Frankie level. Like remember in One Piece when Frankie was like hyper speed pounding like
Yeah,
boards and nails to
the
make a
fucking
ladder
railway.
like on air, you know what I mean? Like it was comedy, but like I'm
Yeah,
picturing like something like that, you know what I mean? Like with this guy. But no, it was probably just slaves.
yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
somehow forgot about the slaves.
Yeah.
Just looking at this fucking first 2 pages though, like
Yeah.
this thing is fortified. Like they
Yeah.
got spikes in the front.
Yeah.
They got dudes like soldiers like guarding the wheels around the side. So like
Yeah.
you can't even like rush it and like you
Yeah.
can't rush this thing.
And
Like you can't shoot arrows at
even if
it.
you got past the guards by the wheels, everything is so tight and together, and it seems like there's solid matter at every
Yeah.
point of entry. So it's like, how do you try to enter this thing? I don't even know like how the fucking Kokashi got in here.
Yeah, like I'm guessing through the back there's probably
Oh,
like a
maybe in the
door
back. Yeah, I guess they
with
didn't
some
really show the back.
stairs.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense actually.
I'm thinking, yeah, and like the fucking side flaps open up, like these shield walls open up for them to shoot arrows. It's like how the hell? The only like thing I can think of like how they would beat this because like we got Yoshige and Takayuki, not Takayuki, but Tokiyuki about to
Hmm.
make a move.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see like what they're gonna do here because Yorishige looks confident as fuck.
Yeah, and after those last 2 chapters or whatever, where he was fighting with the fucking curved blade, he was going off. I was like, okay, bro got some moves.
Yeah,
So he graceful.
right.
I'm thinking I feel like in this situation, if I was like the commander or whatever of the opposing force to that thing, I would probably say fall back and
Yeah,
maybe force this death machine to drive itself into like a hill or something, and then
yeah,
like drop a log on top of it and start running dudes across the log onto the roof of it
right.
so that they can like get on top of it. But I mean, they still be getting shot with arrows. But like if you
Yeah,
drop a bunch of logs, like how pirates, board
right,
other ships.
right.
They they throw down the planks and run across. So like that's the only thing I can think of. Other than that, it's like how do you like stop this thing without killing all the slaves?
Right. And you also like could think about, like the potential that like when you think about it like logistically, like as far as like how this thing is ran, you know what I mean? It's multiple people that are inside of it, with all, and they all have their own responsibility to keep this thing in motion and to keep it operating, you know what I mean? So you never know like what kind of issues could come from inside
Yeah,
of the war machine on like a managerial level, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're working the slaves too hard and then like one entire side of the end or the workers inside of the shit like die of exhaustion or pass out from exhaustion or something like that. I doubt they're keeping like everybody fed properly. You literally just have the kokoshi and the fucking like crow's nest thing, and then the nobles shooting the fucking crossbows out the side, but then everyone else is like a slave running this thing. So you never know
yeah,
what role they'll play on the inside. Like they could just say, "Fuck it, we're slaves. We're probably gonna die anyway. We might as well just like help the enemy, quote
yeah.
unquote, as best as we can if we're gonna fucking die anyway." You know what I mean? So you never know what kind of revolt you'll see inside the machine. But
Yeah, I think that's part of it for sure. Because like they
yeah.
they got the slaves loading the crossbow. Like, what's stopping this dude from going like,
Mm-hmm.
"Fuck you, dog"?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like just put the guys
Yeah.
that are firing the crossbows aren't soldiers. They're not warriors. They're just
Right.
royal dudes.
Yeah.
They're just guys with fucking top hats and shit. But they're out in
Right.
the field. Like they're like,
Yeah.
hey man, you wanna? They probably told them, come play in the field today. We're gonna go shoot some fucking animals with crossbows, and you're invited. Like these guys,
Yeah.
they have no like idea how serious this shit is. Probably.
Yeah, like this is
S-
just like, it's just a game to most of
Yeah.
them or all of them, you know what I mean? And I could definitely see, the workers, the actual people that they're relying on that aren't nobles, coming to some kind of like, fuck it, what's the point? Anyway, we might
Yeah.
as well try our best to stop these motherfuckers. They're trying so hard out there. If it's really just the fear of punishment or the fear of death, I can definitely see people who might be resigned to their fate no matter what, just saying, fuck it, let's see what we can do
Yeah.
and helping them out. Yeah.
I can see them noticing like that the tide might be possible to turn the tide. Like maybe Tokiyuki somehow gets on board and like assassinates one of the guys, and it's like, okay,
Hold on,
maybe
we
we
got a
can take these
chance.
guys.
Yeah, hold on, wait
Yeah,
a
and then
minute. Yeah.
and then they start passing the crossbows over to the other slaves or whatever, and they
Yeah.
just like they walk out of that bitch.
Right.
And it's like you can't kill us all.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because like Genba, is like focused on this like Tengu ninja versus Yoritsugu fight and like kind of like studying it and seeing like, like what kind of information he can get from it and what he can do or whatever. But it's like if anybody's getting inside of this motherfucker, it's either Tokiyuki or Genba. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
Genba's all about stealth, guile, and subterfuge. So like he can fucking mask himself as as an enemy, you know what I mean, and be
true.
like, hey, let me in, hold on, I need to get a crossbow, or something like
Yeah,
that. Let me get a crossbow from in there. I'll bring it out here and start bucking at people, and then
right.
he slips his way in. Tokiyuki's obviously just evasive by nature, so I could see him, slipping in there. Yorishige is Yorishige, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he'll
So
somehow divine himself inside.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it looks like Genba is like more focused on this Tokitsugu versus Tengu ninja, situation. So it's like, man, we really need you over here at the War Machine, son. And you could see how far away they are from the War Machine on page 8. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
the Tengu at the top of that panel, you got the Tengu side profile, and then the fucking War Machine looks small. You know what I mean? So that shit is far.
right.
So it's like, man, Genba, get over there. They need you for real.
And it just he the Tengu dudes talking about like they definitely I like how they definitely play the morale thing a lot, and like he's
Hmm.
talking about like cutting the guy's head off and like showing it to his side, so everybody like, oh my god, we're losing,
Yeah.
Yoshige's son is dead or whatever. And then like he mentions that the hulking thing is also a way to overwhelm and win by shock and awe. Some people are just, oh my god, what the
Oh,
fuck is this? And just get a
yeah.
crossbow in their face,
Yeah,
like before they
yeah.
even get a chance to react, because they're just
Yeah.
like so shocked at like the sight of this thing existing.
So if it's not a morale breaker because of the sheer size and imposing nature of the War Machine, if you don't just outright quit just seeing it because you're like, that's too big of an obstacle, then you might just be fucked by just like staring at it for too long. Like, holy shit, that
Right.
thing is massive. So like either way, it's probably just like drastically reducing the protagonist side just by being there. And it's like, god damn, what do you fucking do?
Yeah, it's just people were probably seeing that and like just quitting.
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they look at it too long and get a fucking arrow in the eye. It's like, oh shit.
Right.
I wasn't paying attention. No, this thing was so big I couldn't stop looking at it.
I really just want to see how they're gonna stop this thing, because
Yeah.
it's insane. And they got this bitch running like Fred Flintstone. They got like all these fucking
Yeah.
feet pushing this thing. Like,
Yeah.
do they? I mean, what happens if they all be like, all right, you know what, fuck it, we're out. Like they just all walk out the back, and they're like,
Yeah.
the people guarding the machine can't kill all of us.
Right. And Yorishige tells Hoshina, he's like, hey, clear the way for him. And Hoshina's got this fiery aura around him because he's like, those are my people, those are slaves. I don't fuck with
Yeah.
that shit. So I know Hoshina's about to go in and but then like once he clears this path, it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do then? You know what I mean? Like the path is cleared, but like
are we? I mean, it's not. I don't think we haven't gotten like people with supernatural like jumping abilities. So like, you know, in most stuff is like a dude will jump like 30 stories. It ain't like he can
right.
jump from the ground and climb it. Like, how is he gonna
Yeah.
get up there? How are they gonna get inside?
I
How are they
think
gonna
they either
stop
go
this
through the
thing?
back or they go up through the bottom. Because like if you look on 17, when we were talking about like the Fred Flintstone feet poking out the bottom, it's like those wheels are so big that it props the whole war machine up, probably like the height of a person at least. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you have this giant, declining slab of spiked wood at the front of it that seems to go all the way down to the bottom of the wheel axle. You know what I mean? But there is still a little gap from the wheel axle to the bottom of the wheel. So I feel like someone could get underneath that in some kind of that'd be scary as shit. A motherfucker like me is not running towards spiked wood on the front of a fucking like thing or whatever. But
and it's
that
sliding under.
yeah, that does seem to be like a point of entry. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh man.
Or like maybe they try and flip it. Like, I feel like this thing can't turn. Like it's just
Yeah.
going straight. So like, what happens if you roll logs towards the front of it, or like push boulders in the way so that like it can't go forward? Because I
Yeah.
don't think this bitch still got a steering wheel. They're not like turning it to the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
I
How
don't
would
think.
it
Like,
turn? Yeah, it looks like you can
yeah,
only just go straight or backwards. Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
point. Wow.
So like, if they block its path, then what can it do? Because
Or they could like grab some oil, you know what I'm saying, and like cover the battlefield in oil so the feet like slip and can't get
yeah,
no traction.
it'd be comical.
Yeah, that'd be
Uh,
crazy.
or fucking yeah, like mud. Like if
Yeah.
it starts raining or something
Hey,
on the
wait a minute,
battlefield.
that could be Yorishige. It's like I knew it was gonna rain
Yeah.
today.
If it starts raining, or like they somehow got like buckets of water and they just pour it down on the battlefield, and
Yeah,
now it's like muddy and they can't move it.
yeah,
It's
I could
like,
see that too. Wow. Man, we got like a lot of like really cool ideas for this. Now I like can't
yeah,
wait to see what Yusei Matsui does because I feel like for a creator like Yusei Matsui, like he thinks of all of the things that we're talking about before he
yeah,
even like puts this shit into into comic book form. So he's probably like people will probably think we'll do this, people will probably think we'll do that, and then like just go down the list of all of our predictions and then go, okay, I think that's enough obvious predictions. Now I'll do something else. You know what I mean? Like they always do something that you weren't predicting and it's better than anything that you predicted, especially a mangaka of Yusei Matsui's caliber. So I'm super excited. If we're right, great, but if we're wrong, I know it'll be better than anything that we brought up.
right, for sure.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of possible angles, and I'm looking at it again. I forgot about the little girl from was it Kyo when
Mm-hmm.
Tokiyuki went to the other town? She's here too, and
Sasaki
like,
Doyo's daughter or whatever.
yeah, and like
Mm-hmm.
she could be like, no, dad, stop or whatever, and like
Yeah.
distract him while he's
Oh,
about to
he's
fire a
in
shot.
there.
Yeah, that's him, right?
Yeah.
And she's like eating fucking crickets or something.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck? It's a delicacy back
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
probably.
yeah. They're
Big
like fucking
protein or something, like they don't have the
yeah.
same fear of bugs or whatever that like
They probably got
contemporary
peanut
people
butter or
do.
something on them.
Yeah, it's got to be candied to some degree maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
caramelized crickets.
No, not caramelized. I'm
Yeah,
screaming.
but like maybe she interferes or something. I need to see how they get out of this,
Yeah, I
because this
definitely
is
think that old
drastic.
girl from Kyo definitely helps them in their strategy to some degree. Now that you mention it, which is really exciting, man, because it's like, man, like there's so many like little tiny hanging plot threads from previous arcs that I feel like could all just like come to a head in this arc at some point. And it's like, man, if all of that shit comes to a head and then we go back through the series and like connect dots on the way to that payoff, like that'll just feel really good. And I know Yusei Matsui has been laying things down in order to do just that. So there's a lot of things to be excited about with the continuation of this. Another thing that I'm really excited to see is how Tokitsugu, or Yoritsugu, yeah, whoever Yorishige's son versus this Tegu Warriors, yeah, I can't wait to see, because he looks pretty confident in the continuation of his own fight, right? The Tengu's like, you weren't lying about your divine eyesight, your impenetrable defense makes this a waste of time, so I shall finish you from where you cannot see. And he goes like into the fucking bushes or whatever, and that panel in the middle of fucking page 10 of Tokitsugu chilling there, as the leaves are like flying up and whatnot as he retreats into the bushes or whatever. I just love that drawing. But then the bottom of that panel, he like cracks a smile like, I got you. I already know what I'm about to do to you. And it's like, what are you gonna do?
What is he gonna do?
Yeah. Can't fucking wait for that.
Yeah, we definitely got some interesting stuff to see before this war machine bit of the war is over.
Yes, hell yeah.
And then Sadamune is here too, so like a lot is about to get wrapped up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait for it. Do you have anything else for Elusive Samurai this week?
Nah, I think I'm good. Oh my god, hold on.
Wait, what you got?
Just fucking page 12. Look at just this fucking warrior in the top left. What is this face?
Oh, I always forget about this motherfucker, bro. We've seen him a couple times. He just looks like a thumb.
Bro, yeah, he's like a thumb with lips, and he looks like he's got his tongue out or something. What is he doing?
I don't even know, man. Hoshina's team is hilarious, fam.
These dudes are derpy as shit.
Yeah, bro. Like, especially the dude on the middle left panel is my favorite. My favorite infantryman in the whole shit.
Yeah, these guys are ridiculous. I do another like small detail before we stop is even the slaves, like if you like zoom in, their clothes have nice like cool details to them too. Like when they're passing
like
the crossbow.
Let
me see the one panel where the dude's like fucking load up the thing. You can see like where is it?
I'm trying to find it. What? Yeah, let me know. Oh. Wait, yeah, let me know what page.
Here we go. 5.
Page 5.
Where he smacks the guy over the back of the head, but like even that dude, they could have easily just gave that dude like some straight like white or black pants, but like even his pants are like got like a cool pattern to them. So like every character gets their own like unique design and shit. Yeah. That's dope to me.
Hell yeah, I love that shit. Love Elusive Samurai, man. People been sleeping on this. I was just tweeting about it. Like people have been sleeping on this shit for too long. You know?
Yeah, what I don't get it.
But I mean, whatever. If they don't, if people don't have, like really like visually striking epic energy attacks to like, big splash pages of, raw Kino swag to like constantly tweet about and like gas on the timeline, motherfuckers are just not gonna care about it. Like one of the best fights in Elusive Samurai is a conversation. You know what I mean? Like that's just not going to reach the meat-headed, anime Twitter masses, like Western audience, like is just not gonna give a fuck about shit like that.
People don't really fuck with like the historical stuff, and I think like people like swordsmen, but only when like the swordsman is a side character in a story with supernatural powers. Like they're not reading swordsman stories. They're just they're like, oh, my favorite character is Zoro, but like
but everybody else has devil fruits. Or,
everybody else is like shooting energy beams and stretching and shit. But like in this, it's like straight swords, straight hands, arrows and shit.
Yeah, it sucks, but hey, whatever. We're eating.
It's great.
Yes, sir. All right, well, I think that'll do it for the Elusive Samurai this week.
That's it.
Good shit. All right, moving into the final chapter segment of the night already. Undead Unluck, chapter 116, Stake Your Soul on the Sword. Beautiful title for the chapter.
Yeah.
Beautiful chapter in general. I love when Undead Unluck gives us a lot of like really in-depth explanation on like the abilities and whatnot that are being used at any point in time, because like a lot of the time I feel like Toza kind of like just leaves it up to the reader to kind of like figure things out, like, hey, have you been paying attention? Because like if so, you'll know like what's going on right now. But then other times, like when it gets really crazy, he'll give like raw exposition for the kind of things that are happening here. And And this is one of those chapters where he definitely does give us a lot of information and explain exactly why things are happening the way that they are. So I appreciate that. Plus, I
Right.
completely forgot that Umas have different phases.
Same.
Yeah,
Like how did I forget
I
this?
was
Like
asking myself the same thing. I was like, oh my god, why is this surprising to me? Why haven't I been thinking about what'll happen when Ghost goes phase 2? Like, no, it's just boom, surprise. There's just so many things going on in Undead Unluck, it's easy to forget, I think.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
when I turn that page and I see Ghost phase 2, I'm like, duh.
Duh, right.
Of course he's got a phase 2. This shit is cool as fuck. It's like he's got like he's got a spirit scythe.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's like holding that bitch like a guitar. Like
Yeah.
this shit is cool. He's
The
got
way
the
that he
fucking
goes
chain.
into the way he goes into to phase 2 is really cool too, because the fucking like head or the hood, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of phase 2 is going over Nico and like chomping down on him for the assimilation into, you know, the hooded scythe form, which is just brilliant visually and
Yeah.
design wise. Yeah.
And even like this Ghost whole character is just fucking sick. Like
I love
his
it.
right, like even after the bite, like he chomps down and like to the left when Nico or one, I don't know who's saying the hell, but like Ghost is like smiling, like his eyes are like it's got like this smiling,
Yeah, the
like
smiling eyes, like he's having
he's
a good
like,
time. He's like, I got
yeah,
you.
this is his shit. He
Yeah,
loves doing shit like this, fucking with people.
right.
He's having the time of his life, and then just straight into Scythe,
Yeah,
just
the
chops
fighting
Andy.
style with the scythe is so sick. The way that obviously the leverage works with the downward swings and pretty much
Right,
all of his swings, and the scythe just being made of like raw screen tones and stark whites is like a great visual detail for like the ephemeral, you know, kind of like ghosty nature
right.
of the Uma and whatnot. So like everything just feels so pristine in this fight, you know what I mean, as far as designs and art and paneling and whatnot. Like everything flows so well and is just so aesthetically appealing.
Yeah, Tozuka definitely don't be slacking on the art.
Right.
He's killing that shit, and
Yeah.
just all the details, like having the hand then appear on a chain above Ghost's head, like that is cool
Yeah,
as
it's
fuck.
like
Like
this is the limb I have locked down. Yeah.
yeah, he didn't have to do that at all. He could have just like had Andy not be able to move his hand, but like
Right.
adding it like to his collection, that's
Yeah.
cool as hell.
It makes it feel like a video game, you know what I mean? Like if we were playing
Yeah,
like an Undead Unluck video game and like this wasn't, you know, like in like the actual story or whatever, like I could see like, oh, Uma Ghost, like for the video game, you get this Uma, you know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of rules that we're probably never going to see in Uma form
hmm
inside of Undead Unluck. So if they did make a game, I could see like the extra characters being like, you know, represented like kind of like in this way for the game. It's like, this is Ghost. If he hits you with the scythe, you lose, you know, the ability, you know, to use like one of your limbs, and then it's represented by, you know, a dangling, you know, limb on the chain, and you have to
yeah,
do this and that to like get it back. Like I could totally
right.
see that, but or something. But yeah, oh man, and I'm noticing on 2 that the head comes down and there are arms that are coming out of the back that are grabbing the legs of
Yeah, I think
Nico.
those are actually their last chapter too.
Were they? Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't notice that.
they were just like he was still kind of in control though for the most part. Yeah, they were.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're holding him ever since like Ghost came,
Okay, okay, okay.
but like the Ghost was always
Yeah,
just kind of like in the background, hovering over him, waiting for him to lose his sense of self. And
right.
the moment he cracks, Ghost is like,
Ha!
"Yup,
Grabs
you're
him up.
mine."
Got arms on
Pounces.
got hands on the arms and hands on the leg to like further, you know, represent that aspect of control. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
Ghost has over, you know, over Nico. It's like not only am I chomping you down on the top to create this hood, but I'm also holding you in place like you're literally like in the palm of my hand type shit.
right.
And that just
Seriously.
fits so well. Yeah. And this is
Yeah,
really
then
cool, man, because he's like, hey, I'm gonna chip away at you piece by piece. And then fucking Andy's like, fuck that. I'm about to slash your shit. He's like, my attacks aren't connecting though. And it's like, yeah, because I can go astral or physical whenever I want,
yeah.
which makes sense for Uma Ghost. You know what I mean? Especially because he's assimilated with a physical person.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I thought,
Yeah.
like maybe since he's on Nico's physical body, that like
Mm-hmm.
an attack will be able to hit him. But the sword goes through Nico and Ghost's head.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can't hit him, and
Yeah.
he gets a leg taken. Like now he doesn't have a leg, and that shit's dangling too. Like this
Yeah.
this is not a good fight for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool that like phase 2 of Ghost requires, you know, like it's like a symbiotic or maybe not symbiotic. Yeah, it is a symbiotic
Yeah,
relationship. Yeah, because Ghost needs a living physical person to assimilate with to reach this second phase. I want to assume, like if there was no person there, then Ghost probably wouldn't be able to even go phase 2, which like is just perfect for this Uma specifically, because it is all about that spirit to body relationship when it
right.
comes to ghost type shit, you know what I mean? So like that's really cool how this is kind of like playing out. Everything feels so thorough and calculated and planned and perfect in Undead Unluck when it comes to conflict and energy powers and just fights in general. It's all so, it's like chess, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always, yeah, you make a move and I got to move for that. Like
Yeah,
there's counters and shit, and
yeah.
there's a lot of thought put into these fights.
Yeah, it always like there's always just so much logic there, despite this being so wildly fantastic. You know what I mean? He's like, "Well, I'm in this form. I can make any spot on my body, astral or physical, at will." So what does Andy do? He's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna attack you with physical and astral
Right.
strikes at the same time. Good luck switching." You know, and it's like, "Oh man!" And then so it's like, "Yes, that makes sense. Get him, Andy." Then you turn the page, and it's like, "Well, I'm just gonna stay physical then." Or whatever, and put Fuko in front of you. Now what?
Right.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Or
It's
maybe he
like I
doesn't
didn't know
stay
he could do
physical.
that.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't stay physical, but maybe he just, I don't know, like, obviously Fuko is an astral form.
Yeah,
So
but like
like either
he
way
can't chance it.
either way he blocks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
just like, man, like the logic on both sides is just like, I got you with a perfectly logical response. Then you perfectly logically respond to that with your own strategy, and then it's just like back-to-back subversions of expectations. And it's like, oh man, that's how you get that hope slash dread back and forth in
Right.
conflict. You know what I mean? That's what
It's like,
keeps you
oh,
on your
maybe.
toes, keeps you
All
biting
right.
them nails.
You're thinking like, okay, maybe Andy might got this if he do
Yeah.
that, and it's like, nope,
Mm-mm.
Ghost got something for everything. Yo,
Yeah.
he's got your answers,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Before the end of this chapter, like I was thinking that maybe Ghost would take this, and we might get like Fung showing up because like he's still around somewhere, and he's
Yep.
like. He's apparently gotten tougher with this with the
With the soul
introduction of
shit.
Ghosts and the Soul shit. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking he might pull up, but like
Why would he help? Or would he just be
maybe
another obstacle?
yeah, I don't know. Maybe just like we're at the end of the world anyway. Like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I was just trying to think of like how, because he's there. Like, what is he doing? We haven't seen him, and
Yeah.
like, I feel like I feel like the loop is we're really close to the loop. Like, we got
Yeah.
Ghost, we got Ruin, and we got Seal.
The world's
When
on
is Fun
fire.
gonna come in?
Yeah.
Because like they got him imprisoned, and we had the whole dialogue about him like understanding things more. So like when are we gonna see him
Yeah.
like get to like show us what he's learned with the soul stuff?
Yeah. And if Uma Ghost has like a phase 3, like do we know? Do we usually be getting phase 3s? Yeah. Yeah, I
We
can't remember the last Uma that had a phase 3, if there even has been an Uma with a phase 3. But I could see Fung on some like, okay, so I've kind of transcended the physical. No one can really fuck with me, on a physical level. So I'm figuring out this soul shit, and I'm that much stronger. How do I
yeah
test this newfound strength? Oh, I can go fight the actual Uma ghosts. You know what I mean? But it looks like Andy's kind of got it in the bag towards the end of this chapter. Fuko's
yeah
freed, and I think he's destroyed. And even Nico has dialogue. Even if a Uma dies, there's a lag before the rule is erased. I confirmed it
yeah
when Spring died. Take advantage of the lag to put Fuko's soul back into her physical body, and then he
yeah
slashes, and it looks like that could be the end of Ghost. At least it's probably the end of Nico, since he had to cut through Nico in order to
yeah. Nico's
to
done.
free Fuko. Yeah. So maybe the phase 3, if there is one for Uma Ghost, is like, now that phase 2 is like you've lost your sense of self. Now we can perfectly assimilate into this symbiotic relationship where I have your physical body, with my ghost form. But then maybe phase 3 is like, okay, my physical body has now perished, or the physical body that I'm using for the assimilation has now died. So now I can literally just full reign control everything about this like body and spirit relationship and go into phase 3. Andy might not be able to deal with that. We're on borrowed time for him to get like Fuko's soul back in to her body or whatever. Feng pulls up like, are you like final form Ghost? Because if so, I'm about to fade you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
he could be on some shit like that, and like
maybe.
I don't know if Ghost will be able to handle him.
Yeah, I
like
know. Fang's a
if he
different
can,
motherfucker, bro.
yeah, because like Ghost is a ghost, and
Uh,
he's got this whole ceiling shit. But this dude is different. If he
mm-hmm.
knows how to fight with his soul,
Yeah.
he probably about to get tossed up. Yeah,
Right, exactly. And like just
like,
going into like Fang's fighting style when the when Andy and Shen were fighting him, Andy was like, I gotta find out what this dude's negator ability is. And it's like, wait a minute. This isn't a negator ability. This dude is just that cold in
he's just
hand-to-hand combat
fucking
that
tough.
untruth doesn't even matter against this dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like,
like
man, if
just
he can do that same thing on the soul end of things, then like that's like a really but I honestly at the end of the day I think that Ghost is just done after this
yeah.
chapter and whatnot,
I'm
and
thinking Ghost might be done.
Andy moves on to the next thing or whatever
But like,
now that
how
he has
long is the
Fuko.
lag? Like,
Yeah,
is the soul going to be in effect for 5 minutes?
yeah,
Like, does Funk still have access to this like skill set for is it does he got 10 seconds? Like, is Fuko's body right here, and he's got
yeah,
10 seconds to put her in before
yeah.
she
Where
like
is
completely
Fuko's
dies?
body?
I think she was in a tank in this room, but like, how long is the lag? Is what I really want to know because. Like, I feel like if the lag is only like 20 seconds, then like we're not gonna see what Thing can do with
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just gonna be a shame.
right.
But like,
But I mean, like if there's a lag at all, then that means that Ghost is dead.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
because
think Ghost is
Nico says even if Uma dies, there's a lag before the rule is erased. So if
yeah,
he's trying to take advantage of this lag, then that means that Uma Ghost had to have died in order to create
yeah.
the lag. Yeah.
But then we get in a situation where okay, Andy gets her soul back into her body, but like I can't see Fuko getting up and being like able-bodied person
Oh,
like she
sure.
hasn't been, like she hasn't been in a coma for like a month now. Like she
Yeah.
probably can't move.
Right.
She can't fight.
Yeah.
She's definitely not gonna be fighting fucking Seal and Ruin. So like what's going
Right.
on? We gotta find out what's up with that Tatiana situation.
Yo, yeah. Tatiana is, yes, that's right, because she's in a really cool situation where she's in like this cylindrical, like elevator shaft kind of thing
Yeah.
leading to the unbreakable door. So she's sandwiching Unruin and Seal in between that unbreakable wall and herself. And she
Yeah.
is opening her chassis to let out her untouchable destruction wave down that shaft.
Yeah,
How
and I
are
don't.
they gonna deal with that?
Yeah, are they gonna just get cooked? I mean, Seal might do the whole like the jewel thing, but like, can that survive?
I mean, at the
Can
very least, they are going to be unable to touch her. And I think that they both have touch related abilities. You know what I mean? Like, Seal has
yeah,
to touch you in some form or fashion in order to seal you. So, Seal is effectively hard countered. Unruin is like the wild card where we haven't seen, I feel like, the full range of his abilities. But either way,
yeah,
I feel like it still comes back to a physical factor at the end of the day. And I don't think that he'll be able to touch Tatiana either. But for the sake of stakes and dread, Tatiana, I feel like, has to lose there. So it's
yeah,
like, how?
yeah. I don't see Tatiana beating these two guys because they're the
Yeah.
regulators. They're
Hmm.
the they're the final two like
Hmm.
on the planet before God. Yeah.
Right, right. So it's like,
And
man, if Tatiana fucking whoops him, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? So like, she has to
so
lose, but how? Yeah,
So yeah, did you see that before this chapter came out, the post where they were talking about Undead Unluck is entering its final fight or whatever?
yeah. I did see something about that. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it was like a mistranslation that they were just saying that this is like the final chapter for this fight and that we're heading into the like end games. I think we only got like a few more chapters left and then we're probably heading to the loop and like I
yeah,
think overall the story might only have like 30 chapters left, which I feel like I feel like it's doable
yeah.
with the way Undead Unluck moves. It's a fast-paced series, and we could kind of get like
A lot of content in that last like
yeah,
30-ish chapters for the sake of argument or whatever.
yeah, and we could get like a bit of fast forwarding. We could get like after this conflict with Ruin and Seal is over, and we do get the loop.
Yeah,
I could see like I can see like a lot of montages where it's like we
yeah,
get like a couple of panels. We get like a panel of Andy with Rip and Lotla. We get one with him with
yeah,
Top, and we get one with him with Creed and shit. Him like recruiting everybody, and then like the end of the chapter is like we're at like penalty 97 or whatever. It just like
yeah,
fast forwards to like the start of the how the story started with us at
yeah,
like 98 and then for the final bit, we go into the final bitch with God and shit.
Yeah, I can see it going into, like the loop chapter when they like lose to God or whatever, like, you get like some amazing like superimposed like narration,
Yeah.
poetry like towards like the blackness
Oh
or whatever,
man,
and then it
that's
goes
gonna be
into
crazy.
black, that chapter ends, then the next chapter picks up hella time later in like the,
Yeah.
the life of this new universe, you know what I mean? And then like we can see even more, poetic superimposed narration leading into Foucault leading, the union and finding everybody and bringing everyone back to a point to where it's like, okay, now we're here. We actually know what to do this time. Let's go get this god motherfucker. And then a super long final arc. You know what I mean? That kind of wraps everything up and gives us all the
Yeah.
fights and things like that. I can definitely see it being montaged in that way for sure.
I feel like we're definitely getting a montage. The only thing is just like there's a few more things to wrap up in this loop. Like we still don't know what Billy's deal was. We still don't know like
Yeah.
what made Billy become the way he was, and what his ability is. We didn't get stuff with a couple other people from under,
Yeah.
like the
We could still
fire
get that
guy.
post loop though too, because I feel like, unless, someone from the arc, whoever is wearing the keep your memories like device or whatever, I feel like unless that person comes and specifically interferes with your journey, that the loop resets and things pretty much kind of go the way that like
Yeah,
there's probably small, like minor differences like here and there inside of like, how time progresses and life progresses for like each individual character, but I feel like unless you specifically step in and go, yo, I'm doing things that, have to make your timeline different than it was before, I feel like everything will still
yeah.
be kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be like Fuko's the one that takes the arc. She finds Andy like ASAP, and then Fuko and Andy go recruiting everybody. And then like by the time they meet Billy, like the thing that made him the way he was just happened. Then
Right.
like they see him and they're like, "We know you want to go down a dark path, but we know a better way. It doesn't the things that you're thinking like." The shit that you want to do and that you end up doing is not going to work out for you. Your enemy is God. You want to get revenge, you should come with us because we know we've seen the future. The world is on a loop. Like at that point, they should just tell them like the
Yeah.
world is on a loop.
Yeah.
We know what's going on. We knew what would happen to you, but unfortunately, we couldn't get to you fast enough.
Yep.
And
But we're gonna fix
join
it this
us.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna make it so that this type of shit never happens again. And I can see like Billy and like people from under like joining their cause after something like that.
Type shit. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm super excited to see how different things are coming out of the loop with, Fuko, at the head, you know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah,
whenever we're focused on these characters and like the traumas that made them who they were, it's like it's given us like this perspective on all of these characters to like, that makes us care for them obviously, but then like knowing that at least one character or multiple of them will have that information going into the next stretch of storytelling coming out of the loop, it makes it like super interesting to see how the new influence will change the characters while they like kind of like remain the same people. You know what I mean? Like we're going to see completely different sides of everybody, I want to say, because they're going to have this, new loop knowledge. Like we got this close last time. You
yeah,
know what I
and
mean?
like
Yeah.
how is it gonna work if like with the loop, like Rip and Lotla told Andy the date that the surgery happens. Like
Yep. Yep.
if they go and prevent Rip from doing the surgery, does Rip still get unrepair? Like God does it like as he's doing the surgery or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he does the surgery and murders the girl, but like
Yeah.
we really gotta get this loop, man.
Yeah. I feel like what if it's a situation to where what if it's a situation where everything traumatic still happens to these people, but they go get them, rally them to their cause, go whoop God, and then, just beating God allows them to loop it again, but in a non-malicious way. Like now they're kind of like have the keys. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah,
can restart everything and just not give people these powers that fuck their lives up in the final, timeline or whatever after defeating God. You know what I mean? So I feel like Rip still loses Layla. I feel like Billy, whatever happens to him still happens, but then they're like, hey, we know what to do this time. Once we beat this motherfucker, we're going to set everything back right, for the final, loop or whatever. And like, we don't
yeah,
have to deal with this ever again, but things still get reset. You know what I mean? Like, I could see it
yeah.
being like that. I don't know how to really explain it entirely perfectly. But I
I
know
get
that
it.
Tozuka would, if that was, the way that he was going to go. I feel like he'd write the shit out of that. Yeah.
I can see it, like God being like, "Okay, congratulations, you finally beat me.
Yeah.
Here's the actual true final reset, and like I won't fuck with anything.
Right.
Good luck in your lives, guys." And
Yeah.
everyone just goes about their life or whatever. Nothing, no God interference. God never gives Rip
Yeah.
unrepair, so he doesn't
Right.
kill the girl, and
Yeah.
Fuko doesn't have unluck, so she doesn't kill her parents. Top
Yeah.
doesn't kill his friends.
You want to know what would
People
be
just live
super
their life.
trippy? Fucking, you remember that episode of Futurama where did you used to watch Futurama back in the day?
I did, but I kind of like Inuyasha, where like I've only seen like 38
Mm.
episodes, but out
Oh,
of order.
sure. Yeah.
But I've seen more than 38 for Futurama, but like
Yeah. There was an episode where Fry and the gang like land on this planet where there's this weird cosmic dust aura alien that like makes them do like a game show trivia for like Star Trek knowledge. And he's like this all-powerful god that's like forcing them to act out the roles of like Star Trek and whatnot. And then you get to the end of the episode and you find out that that god being was like an adolescent child. And then an even bigger cosmic cloud like parent comes in and is like, "Hey, get back and do your laundry." You know what I mean?
I
And
feel
he's
like I
like,
might have seen that.
yeah, and he's like, "Ah, shit, mom, really, I'm playing." You know what I mean? And it's like this
Yeah.
super huge like god threat for the whole episode. Turns out to be like a little ass annoying bratty kid who's like, "All right, well, whatever, guys. See ya. I gotta go fucking do my chores," and bounces. I'm sitting here thinking like, man, what if this god dude is like that? And it's like they whoop him and he's like, an even bigger god is like, "Yo, sorry about my kid. Like, we'll stop fucking with y'all." You know what I mean? Like, y'all can have this universe. We're actually supposed to be doing more important things with these powers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're going to go influence, other areas of the universe in more positive ways, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know how I'd feel about an ending like that, but I just like thought about that, so I thought I'd say it. But like that'd be trippy as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like God is this fucking all-threatening, super aggressive, malicious like force of nature. But then it turns out that because they set it up like God is playing a game with these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like he puts these rules into the universe, like makes the rules sentient, makes the rules of the universe sentient, gives regular people superpowers because he's interested in seeing if they can find the proper combination of them and have the proper like force of will to like actually contest him. Like how far can you get to me? Here's some superpowers. Do your best. You know what I mean? Like
feels like I'm watching
child.
like it feels like I'm watching like a roguelike game, like Hades or something.
Yeah,
where like you
shit.
just keep playing through and through, and like you get more weapons and shit, and it's like he's interfering at every step, and then you got like these points where they need points to use the
there's
arc,
a
and then
point
you got
system, there's a leveling system, there's a fucking quest system.
There's the moon, Luna, or whatever is like somebody just watching. Are they like the dungeon masters at the Mellow sitting on the planet or something? Like, are they just the guy like sitting on the planet? Then you got like the regulators who come in. Like it's a lot going on.
Oh wow, you just made me think about it, bro. Luna is totally like a reference to Uatu the Watcher from Marvel Comics. We're talking about all of these like Tozuka's a fucking like comic book nerd. You got like Wolverine is Andy, fucking Rogue is Fuko, fucking Luna is like Uatu the Watcher. You know what I mean?
I don't know who that one is.
The Watcher, Uatu the Watcher is like a race of like moon people that like they're like super powerful, but they never interfere with like the natural order of the universe. They literally just sit and watch and chronicle things and like never interfere, even though they have all the power in the world to. And sometimes Uatu does interfere. He breaks the bow and does things sometimes, but conceptually, he's just a motherfucker that sits on the moon and like watches the events of the universe play out and then like document it. You know what I mean? So like that feels Luna as shit to me because she be on the moon watching everything and not really interfering. You know what I mean? So that's just really cool to think about now that it's kind of been brought up. But my point is that, like, as crazy and powerful and scary as this God character is, just based on everything we know about this loop system, this loop RPG game system, like, it feels very childish. You know what I mean? So, like, if we find out that this God, as powerful as it is literally just a child in, like, the grand race of these godlike beings, I feel like that would be super trippy, and I feel like Tozuka could write the shit out of that if that was the case. Yeah.
And I think even with the spring arc, like the God kind of like wasn't liking the way things went and made spring like snap. Yeah. He's like it's like he threw a tantrum. He just was like, "No way, man! Spring fucking activate." This spring got crazy.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like somebody up there watching. Like it's a board game. We're watching Mario Party
type shit. Yeah, Mario Party type shit. I'm screaming. Oh my god.
I can't wait to see what it goes to. But
Undead
like,
Unluck continues to just be the wild card series that is just like the most unpredictable but the most fun at the same time.
just it's time for the anime, man. Mashal just got an anime announcement, and just this shit needs an anime, yeah. And
ASAP.
we need the loop, we need the anime, and
Yeah.
I want future sight. I want to know where we gonna be at in 30 weeks.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Come on, let me know, man. Let me know. I can't wait for the fucking next one, bro. Like I always say, like, for everything that's at like super climactic points in the story, it's like I really can't wait for the next one. And it's like that just goes to show like the quality of series across the board that we cover. That every single, like, pretty much, I want to say 90% of the series that we cover every week, I'm at a point where I'm like, dude, I absolutely need this next chapter more than any next chapter. Yeah. And I like always fucking say that. It's like,
do you get it? You're like, bruh.
Yeah.
Next week, please.
Yeah, like, no, now I need the next one again and again and again, and it never ends. Oh my god, I fucking love where we are in the manga world right now, for real.
So, last couple of things I want to talk about is just the detail that's put into like the cowl of Ghost over Nico's face. Like on page 13, it like really you can see like the detail. You can see like the face, like the structure, the shape of Nico's face, like under this like sheet.
Oh
And
yeah, in the
it's
screen
like,
tones. Yo.
yeah, it's a lot of like a lot of details, and then in the next page, next two pages, when Nico's ripping fucking his like eyes open, like
Yes.
it makes me wonder, like, are Nico's eyes open and like bleeding like this, like under Ghost's face the whole time? Like, is he always just like this?
I think
But
so,
like with his
because
eyes covered, like
yeah, this is a really good question actually, because if you look at 13, no blood streaming down from underneath the cowl. Right?
yeah,
He's like, you'll end up hitting this girl too, and he's got like the laughing eyes or whatever, and there's, you can see Nico's face underneath it.
yeah.
And it is tight that you can see, with the use of screen tones and the absence of screen tones and the stark whites, the shape of Nico's face underneath that. That was a beautiful, visual detail that you pointed out. But he doesn't start bleeding from the eyes until page 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's just him fighting back against Ghost that's causing this like physical, reaction in his body to where his eyes start bleeding and shit. I think it's just like that big of a strain on his physical body to fight back the spiritual control that Uma has over him, if that makes sense.
Is he like awake though under it? Is like is his like
Oh.
while Ghost is in control, are Nico's eyes like open, like looking at the inside of Ghost's head? Like, is he like,
yeah, that's
is
scary.
he like
That's always
yeah,
scary to think about. It's like whenever there's possession involved, you have to wonder, is the person being possessed unconscious while the possessor is inhabiting the body, or is the possessed conscious and just can't do anything about it while something else is driving their body? Like that is just such a scary thing to think about. You know what I mean? Like with zombie fiction too. You know what I mean? Like you have to ask that question. Like obviously the body is dead. You know what I mean? But like there are some zombie stories that like kind of, make it feel like the person is kind of still alive in there consciously while the zombie aspect of them is driving. You know what I mean? Because people can come back from zombification in some areas of zombie fiction. You know what I mean? So it's like, what were you doing the whole time? That's fucking frightening to think about.
yeah, it's sick.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to say was also on that page 15 when Nico's pulling the mask down. This is the first time I think you ever see the spikes drilling into his body. Like it's like he's trying not to like get like he's trying to prevent Nico from pulling them off, and then digging deeper in, and blood shooting out.
Dude, I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that.
I just noticed it when I was rereading it earlier.
Tozuka is the king of hidden, subtle visual detail. I swear to fucking God, there are so many things that aren't like, holy shit, how did I not notice that? That's so important, that are snuck in there with so much care. You know what I mean?
And it shows that like Ghost isn't just being ripped off. Ghost is fighting back.
Fighting
Ghost
back.
He's trying not to get ripped off his body by like digging his heels in even more into Nico's body.
Oh my God, great spot, bro. These are things that completely fly over my head, despite the fact that we bring up hidden visual details all the time in Undead Unluck, bro. And it's like,
and he's even got like the veins. Like Ghost has like on top of Nico's head. Like he's like really straining to stay
Oh,
on.
I didn't even notice the veins. I thought that was folds in the fabric. Oh my god.
Yeah, like Ghost is going through it right now.
Dude. Like that's like just like further drives home like little tiny visual details like that further drives home the symbiotic relationship factor. And it's like these are things that Tozuka does not need to include.
Right, exactly.
But like he cares so much about this world and the characters. Like it is reality for him to the point where he's like, nah, like when you're thinking about it, it's like, no, because if this was actually happening the way that I'm picturing it, then Ghost would be fighting back against this.
Right.
And what would that look like? You know what I mean? Like the level of thought and care and detail that goes into these things that like most people will probably miss is insane. It's like Magic cards, right? And you don't play Magic, but like Magic card art is like, you know, giant like oil painting, Victorian painting quality a lot of the time.
I've seen some of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But the people that, you know, do this art, you know, are doing it on a giant canvas and they're adding all of these crazy painting details and all of this and all of that. And they have to like ask themselves like, how much detail is worth it considering that like a lot of the details are going to be missed by people just thumbing through cards and maybe like like most people like don't want to use this card because it's too vanilla, it's not like highly competitive and they just kind of like brush past it. And it's like you're devoting so much time into making this as good of a piece as you possibly can just for the majority of people to not notice it. You know what I mean? And it's like I have so much respect for artists that go the extra mile like Tozuka and like a lot of Magic the Gathering artists, knowing that people are going to miss their shit. But for the people that do pay attention enough, it's that much more rewarding. You know what I mean? And that's why they do it.
Gives you a lot more like into Ghosts and see, you know, how he reacts to something like this. Because he's not just letting himself be yanked off. And that's a cool thing to see and know.
Yes, like, dude. God, I fucking love this series. Oh. It's another one where the anime is going to take the streets by storm and you're going to get a lot of people that try to front like this shit is going to change the game for a lot of people and they're going to be mad that they fucking ignored this shit and they're going to be like, no, this shit is like perfect for me actually. I got to act like I've been here the whole time. Like,
bro, it's going to be a lot. You go, this going to be like the most noticeable because like people going to be like, Undead Unluck's my favorite or whatever. And it's going to be like, bro, you.
Yeah.
You know, you.
Let me go ahead and search you. Let me go on your Twitter, hit like, that magnifying glass.
No one is talking about this. Yo, don't even lie.
And there's been so much fighting back against Undead Unluck from people who don't read it. When people try to tell you the reasons why you should, and they're just like, nah, I don't care what you got to say. I'm good. Right. But then like the anime is going to reach more people. You know, faster and more potently, I want to say, than the manga did, you know what I mean? And then once there's a big wave for the anime, it's like, you know, like when there's only like 4 or 5 people that are saying like, don't worry about the first chapter, like just keep reading the manga, and then the vast majority are like, yeah, I read a couple more chapters and still just like, nah. Like once you have all the other stimuli that come from an adaptation, oh, the music's on point too. Oh, the voice actors are incredible. Oh, the action scenes in animated form are like gas in a vacuum, yada 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 yada. There's going to be so many more reasons to ignore the weird, you know, vibe from the beginning of the series when it's in anime form. And then it's, you know, once the big wave of, you know, Undead Unluck appreciation comes in for the anime, you know, you're not going to get as much pushback, you know what I mean, as you did like for the manga, and you're going to get a lot of those bandwagoners like, I've been here from the beginning, I just didn't want to, because everybody hated it, and I didn't want to, you know, be labeled a weirdo, and I was just waiting for the anime to come out so I could finally, you know, you know, proclaim my love for the series. And it's like, no.
Even with the anime though, like anime episodes, you know, usually cover like 4, you know, 3-4 chapters in one episode. So like the stuff that was weird that people like didn't like about chapter 1, that's gonna be over in like 12 minutes. So like the first episode's gonna cover like 3-4 chapters.
Well, you never know, because the first chapter of a new manga is usually longer than usual. So I feel like a lot of times the first episode still just covers the first chapter for a lot of things, because of how much longer it is. But for a series as fast-paced as Undead Unluck, I think you might be right. I think we might get at least 2 chapters in the first episode.
I think we're definitely getting Shin in fucking episode 2, and people are gonna be on board. Like, and then by the time we get like that first appearance with Victor, like people are gonna be sold. Like I think that's when like it's really gonna be real.
Yeah. Hilarious. Did you have anything else for Undead Unluck this week?
Nah, I think I'm good. That's it.
I think I'm good too. All of the series that we covered tonight are at points where it's like the next chapter is going to be massive. You know what I mean? Like maybe not as much so for Dandadan because you never know how slice of life they'll go, especially since the cliffhanger of Undead, well, not the cliffhanger, the last page of Undead Unluck didn't set up new conflict or introduce like a bunch of new questions related to conflict. So you never know, that could just go into more slice of life stuff, which we love anyway and we want to see no matter what. But specifically like the Elusive Samurai and Undead Unluck ended at points where it's like, I need to know what happens next right the fuck now.
Yeah, some chunky shit going on.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, great review, man. Great conversation. I think we nailed it. That'll do it for Undead Unluck. That'll do it for the Special Grade Podcast, episode 69. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, thank you all so much for subscribing to the Special Grade Podcast in the first place. We literally could not do this content without you guys. Yato, thanks for joining me, man. We knocked it out. The dynamic duo once again.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Fun times.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. You guys know where to find us. We'll be in the hidden areas of the Project Manga Discord. So once again, Special Grade members, link your accounts together and come fuck with us in the hidden channels. But with all that said, wrapping up, I'm Nox.
Yato.
We'll catch y'all next time.